building was kind of a big base, so they made it like that. And you can see as we go around, we look at it closely, it looks like basically everything is stuck to the base. Now, there's one thing that's not quite as stuck. Do you see what it is?
It's the triangle on top?
Well, okay, but the triangle on top goes down to this white part here, right? So the white part's stuck. What about the orange part around it? Now, I don't know. I don't know if that matters. Do you know if it matters?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay. So if we look underneath, it looks pretty good. And if we look on the top view, it looks good. So that was theirs from yesterday. Now, this is Aiden's from yesterday. We'll have a look at his 3D view. Okay.
We need to turn it the other way. Can we see the front?
Yep, I'm going to just move it up so you can see it here. We'll go through all of them, I think. So if we look up top, we look at the top, pretty good. Look at the bottom here. Now,
Whoa.
it looks like he's cut out some windows.
By putting this little, it's a cube to make windows.
It is, and he's cut it out.
It is called a hole.
It is cool, but look at how he's put them together, and look at these design parts here. Like his door, he added the door on it, but he even made the door knob. Like, so he started to add some little tinier details to it. And if we look at it,
You can see the inside.
yeah, and if we look, it looks like his doorknob is attached right to that rectangle.
And the door above the door. The door looks pretty stable too.
It does. But his was different because his base was not just the base of the house. What did he do to make
Put an extra base.
He did. And many of you chose to do that too. Yes, Dana, what were you going to say?
The door looks pretty stable because how I see it,
Yeah?
when you turn it
Yep. Other way? Yep. Oh,
like that, I can see it's attached to the base.
it is.
But
Now,
how it looks like that.
If we look underneath,
Ooh,
it
that
again,
looks stable
it does.
too.
It looks like he's added some extra stability.
What
And
is
if we look,
stability?
well, what does it mean when it's stable?
It looks like it's not going to fall down.
Right, so if it's stability is like the verb of that, right? So that it's not going to fall down.
Hey,
And
what
then
is
if we look
that?
up top, look at how he's even added his chimney piece.
How did you even do that?
Oh.
Like maybe made a hole. Maybe
No, I didn't make a
Oh.
hole. I just made the square into a triangle. So in a rectangle, and
Yeah.
then that you need to pull it up, and you just put it in the roof, and it kind of looks like one.
So you took the rectangular prism and you made the bottom part triangular?
No, I did. I used
I
the
think you
square and then made it into one.
Oh, so you made the square into a rectangle,
Yeah,
and then the
'cause
rectangle part at the bottom into a triangle?
Because like over
Wow.
there's no rectangle.
Oh. But his is not just a flat rectangle, it's a 3D prism.
It has
So
a
it's
lot of squares and
Yeah.
rectangles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I see one there, and one and there, and there, and there, and down there,
Yeah.
and one big one down there. So there's tons of them.
And if we look at that rectangle here, just one
maybe-
second. Just one second, I promise we'll go right next. Just before we kind of lose this part. If we look at this rectangle right here, it's not flat, which means that the square that he would have started with, was it flat or was it 3D?
It was 3D.
So which means that, was it a square?
It was a cube.
It was, and he took that cube and he made it into a
Rectangular prism.
But then he adjusted the rectangular prism and he made the bottom part triangular. I don't even know what that shape is called.
How did she do that?
I don't know. You'll have to ask him.
I need help.
He told, so he could probably help you. Dana, I said you could share now, so yes, go ahead. What would you like to share?
When I see it from looking right here,
Yeah.
it looks like totally some people have it looks like totally like a real house. No, it looks like I think it looks like a real house.
I think it does too.
I think it looks like kind of like a little cabin.
Oh.
Or a garden shed.
Okay, so
No, I would say it looks like totally.
totally what?
Totally wrong. It totally looks like a Minecraft house because it has squares and rectangles. But Minecraft doesn't have squares, triangles. Where's triangles? It only has squares, not rectangles, triangles. Yeah,
Oh, so-
You can make the squares into a rectangle.
Yeah, you just like stack it on each other, right?
Yes. Okay, so with this part here then, let's have a look at, I'm going to go with one that's a little more complicated. This was Dibia's one. Now, Ricardo had started with, and then Ricardo went to make one of his own. Hers is slightly more complicated. She did a little bit more with it. So have a look at this one.
Wow. Is it Jordan? No,
It's
Dibia's.
Dibia's. Now when we turn it around,
We want to see Jordan.
look at all the details. Right?
I want to see Shyla's. She did diamonds.
Right? And when we look at this one down, have a look at what she's added here.
Oh, I see a yellow part right there.
Yeah. But see how she's,
Pyramid.
that's right, and see how she's added it, but see how they all stick to each other?
Dana means that
Oh.
yellow part. That,
Oh, this?
That yellow line.
But look, see how she's even managed to stick that part into the rectangle? So she added a few more details. If we look at hers, compared to some of the other ones, that we saw,
It's easier to look at that. It's really close.
it is. When we look at hers compared to some of the others, you can see that hers has a few more shapes and figures on it than many of the other ones does. But it took you quite a while to add all those shapes, didn't it?
It was hard to get this
Yeah.
one. It was
One-
and they had to make sure none of the shapes were folding because they couldn't print because they have to be stuck together.
I'm thinking of some of the designs that you did this morning. Who added a lot of details to their designs? Just a minute, please, Dana. Who added a lot of details to their designs? How difficult do you think it would be when creating it on Tinkercad? Why?
Because there's so much details. That's why I took out a lot of those difficult details.
Okay, so
Like a lot of those rectangles. And that's why now they're going to stick it on because it's on the side.
okay, so that's why when we hold on a second, please. When we walk around and we have a look at your designs, I want you to think about what you created yesterday. I want you to think of how much time. Most of you spend over an hour creating this. By the time it was all said and done, it took about an hour, a little bit more than an hour yesterday. So with the amount of time you spent to make this, think, can I make my design on Tinkercad? Do you think in about the same amount of time I could create that?
No, because
And-
what if someone like me and Divya made the public library that's ginormous and takes a long time? No, that was actually the art gallery.
Oh, the other? Yeah.
Hamilton Art Gallery. It would
Yeah.
take like more than an hour.
Okay, so then,
It
but
was
then,
3 hours.
but then I want you to think about the details then, Ricardo. What details could you give up so that you could still create it and give enough details for what it looks like, but without taking kind of past the amount of time that we have the computers for it.